All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021, and of course, we just finished with Week 8 of the NFL, so now we're on to Week 9, kind of a typical beginning. I hope I said the date right. It is November 2nd. I hope I didn't say like October or August. I keep thinking I do, so I've redone this beginning like 3 times, so I hope this is good. But anyway, we didn't have the best Week 8. We went 8-7, 7-8 if you make me count the Vikings, Cowboys pick switch, so it doesn't really matter. It's not that big a deal. It was a terrible Week 8 for me. Probably for a number of people, it probably wasn't the best week. It was the revenge of the backups in Week 8. It was the upset week that everybody knows happens at least once or twice every year, where everybody just kind of goes, whatever. The Bengals got beat by the Jets. Cooper Rush beat the Vikings. It was a weird week where it's like, all right, okay. Where I noticed a lot of people kind of struggled. So, I mean, I get it. I didn't do the best either, so I'm up to 74 or 73 and 48 or 49, depending on. I have to kind of consider what I think. I have it at 74 and 48 because I don't like to count pick changes. So unless it's like in a very extenuating circumstance, but however you want to count that, I don't care. All right, let's go on to bye weeks. We have the Lions, Seahawks, Buccaneers, and Washington. So for the Lions and Washington fans, a good week where you just can avoid any bad things happening. For the Buccaneers, it's a week for your team to get right after a bad loss to the Saints. And for the Seahawks, it's another week where Russell Wilson might return after this week. And you can probably maybe, I don't know, have a better end to your season than what could be happening. So those teams are off, and that means we only have 14 games to go over. So let's jump into Thursday Night Football, which is, of course, not the greatest game, but, maybe Mike White makes it incredible. Maybe Mike White is the next Tom Brady. Like the irony of that situation is the Patriots took out Zach Wilson, and it brought in the late round unexpected Mike White. And then you see the Jets took out Tom Brady, or took out Drew Bledsoe, which led to the late round Tom Brady coming in and doing what he did. Is there some kind of correlation there? Probably not, but it's fun to think about. The Colts are 10.5-point favorites with an over-under of 46.5 for Thursday. Remember, all the lines are from FanDuel. I don't really gamble. I put these in here, and I don't really consider them when I make my picks, but I put them in there for people who like the Lions and like to see what they are. I don't personally, weigh them too heavily. So if you picked all favorites, that's just who I think is going to win this week. And yeah, I picked a lot of favorites, by the way. There's like maybe 1 or 2 picks, and one of them is just a wild upset pick. Sue me. Yeah, the only reason I'm doing this is because I don't have a lot to say about this first game. I like the Colts to win. They lost a really close game against a division opponent. The Jets looked really good, but I feel like they caught the Bengals in a situation where the Bengals got caught looking way ahead, and they're a young team that's playing very, very well, so they probably thought, we don't really have to try here. We're going to steamroll the Jets. Meanwhile, they got rolled by Mike White. I don't see the Colts doing that in this game. They're not the kind of team that overlooks anybody, so I expect the Colts to win this pretty handily, but I just got that weird feeling. Does everybody else? I don't know. Give me the Colts, though. It's not much of a game to discuss. Sunday afternoon football, let's hop right into some games. Atlanta, you almost did it, didn't you? You almost snuck back into a team I could choose to win games. Tisk, tisk, tisk. But either way, even if I wasn't on the still, we don't pick Atlanta around here thing, I would probably still pick the Saints in this game. Saints are 6-point favorites with an over-under of 42.5. They're playing really, really, really good defense. They're running the ball well. I think they can manage with Simeon. They were able to do it. They've done it for a couple years now where they just have a backup come in and for the middle of the season just run through a bunch of games based on the strength of their defense. So I'd imagine they'll do that again. We kind of seen the start of that happen with the Tampa Bay Bucks game where they stepped up real big and won that game for them. So yeah, I think the Saints, I like the Saints here. I think the Falcons, if you can't beat the Panthers, I really don't see how you're going to compete with the Saints, who are, trying to gain some respect back, it appears. But yeah, I just don't pick the Falcons either. If they would have won last week, I'd have thought about this game a little harder. But again, I really don't think the backup quarterback situation matters too much for the Saints in this game anyway, against the Falcons. Next, we got the Broncos playing the Cowboys. Cowboys are 9.5-point favorites with an over-under of 49.5. Yeah, the Broncos just traded away Von Miller, so I'm not really afraid of anything on that defense anymore other than a pretty decent secondary at times. I am wondering how the Broncos are going to score the football very often, if they're going to struggle with that, which I think they are, until the Cowboys kind of slip into like a late game kind of whatever. As long as they're not getting big giant plays deep downfield, they can have 4 at a time and chip away score. I don't know. I just am not impressed by the Broncos. I don't know. The Cowboys are a really good team and are very legitimate based on, they just won a game with Cooper Rush at quarterback, and I'm pretty sure Dak is back. And if teams weren't able to beat this team with Cooper, I really don't see how you're going to beat them with Dak, especially a very well-rested Dak, a Dak who's ready to play in this game, ready to show out. I don't know. If the Broncos win, that would be a crazy upset this weekend, I feel like. All right, let's move on to the third game, the Stephon Gilmore revenge game, I guess you could say. The Patriots play the Panthers in Carolina. The Patriots are 4-point favorites with an over-under of 41. Yeah, the Panthers, boy, oh boy, have they collapsed. Other than beating the Falcons, which it seems like that's just something teams do, we've sort of... I don't know. The Panthers started out pretty good, and then they fell apart, and then they won again. And now I feel like people are going to be like, well, they're looking pretty good. But it's like, not really. They pulled off a weird win against a team that's not good late in football games. So I don't like that. Patriots, on the other hand, pulled off the upset last week. They were able to beat the Chargers in a pretty good way. They played good defense. Their offense did just what it had to do to win. So I like that of the Patriots. They seem to be slowly turning that corner with their offense and their defense. And if their defense puts up the effort it did against the Chargers, I don't really see how the Panthers have much success without CMC on offense. If he plays, that could really help them, but at some point it's like you're gonna have to throw it. And PJ Walker, Sam Darnold, I don't think it really matters in this one, especially since Sam Darnold's playing against the team that makes him see ghosts. If they run PJ Walker, the Patriots can deal with that as well. Do I think the Panthers keep it close? Yeah, I do. I think Gilmore gets a pick. I think they keep it close. It's going to be a good, fun game. But ultimately, I like the Patriots coaching more. I think the Patriots have a better offense, at least a better running offense right now. I think the Panthers have the pieces of a better offense, but the Patriots are playing pretty good football right now offensively the last few games. So, and their defense is way better than the Chargers. Or Panthers, sorry. I'm thinking about last week. Sorry, that was a comparison from last week. So, again, I like the Patriots here. I think they can rely on the run in this game, and then if they have to, they can throw it, but don't rely on it as like a heavy way to win this game. Let's go to the next one. Give me the Patriots again, 27-20. They're just a better team. Minnesota Vikings playing the Baltimore Ravens. You know why I'm going so fast through these games? They're bad matchups. Like Thursday was a bad one. The Falcons and Saints. That's Cowboys, Chargers, Patriots, Panthers is the only one that was worth talking about for a little bit. This game, Minnesota Vikings versus the Baltimore Ravens. I don't think Danielle Hunter is going to be in this game, or he's going to be like questionable, not playing at full ability. Ravens are 5.5-point favorites, over under a 49.5. Ravens will be off the bye. I think the last game they played was a pretty weird loss for them, so I think they're going to want to kind of get back on track off a bye week. They're going to be home. I don't know. The Vikings, man, their defense just isn't very good this year. The offense isn't clicking whatsoever at times. They seem kind of just lost almost in Minnesota. I'm not really sure what's going on there. This could be the end of Zimmer as the head coach, though, is what I'm starting to get the feeling of. This could be his last year. Because, it seems like their team should be a little bit better than it is, when you look at it on paper, but something isn't translating. And until they get that right, there's no way I don't think they could beat the Ravens. Especially since the Ravens are going to be probably trying to win this game based on the play of the Bengals and the Steelers playing well. So, yeah, this is kind of one of those games the Ravens really need to win, and I think you're going to see that in their play. Give me the Ravens, 31-19. That feels accurate. Let's go on to the next 4 o'clock slate of games. The next 1 o'clock games. This is probably one of the best games of the early slate of games until we get to the 4 o'clock ones. The Browns play the Bengals. The Bengals are 2.5-point favorites with an over-under of 47. I've got the Bengals right now as well. I think a large part of the reason why the Bengals lost to the Jets was they were thinking about this game right here. I think they were looking ahead. I think they got caught in one of those. We're way better than them. Very young, good team mindset to get stuck. Like a lot of good young teams have this happen to them because they underestimate their opponent looking ahead to the next one. This is exactly what I feel like happened to the Bengals. It seemed like their defense, more than the offense, just got caught flat-footed by that whole situation, and that's understandable. I think they know what the Browns are. That they know what they have to do. This is a game I feel like that they were looking forward to lose to the Jets like that. And there's some problems with the Browns right now, like Baker's playing with injuries. Odell and them don't seem to be synced up. Jarvis doesn't look that good. Seems like half their team is playing with like pretty bad injuries, but it's just like they have no choice. Like I don't know. I don't like what I'm seeing from the Browns with like the injury perspective, and they just kind of seem off this year right now, especially without their dual running back thing going on. And I don't really like them coming in like the way they are into this game, whereas the Bengals seem like they might have been overlooking something heading into this game. They were overlooking the Jets heading into this. So I like the Bengals. I think they're going to be super well prepared. I think they're going to look a lot better than they did against the Jets, more like how they've looked during their 5 wins. And from the Browns, I think they can stay competitive in the game, but from what I've seen from them lately, the last couple games, they just don't seem right. The offense seems out of sync. Baker's playing injured, and the running backs don't seem... you know what I mean? Like, you have to know what I mean with this one. The Browns just don't feel like they did last year even. You know what I mean? It's like, what's up with them? Injuries? I think so. All right, Buffalo Bills take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. There is not really much to discuss here. Bills are 14.5-point favorites with an over-under of 48.5. I have them winning 35-14. Next, this is my upset of the week. This is my upset special. I should charge for this game. I don't know. Does any human being, even Houston and Miami fans, actually give a shit about this game? Both the teams probably want to lose this game just so they can win like higher draft status, because they know Detroit might not win a single game. So 2 wins might actually push them way out of the, like, into the 3rd or 4th pick. But I'm picking Houston in this game. Miami's lost 7 straight. I don't know how many in a row Houston's lost. It's about the same, I think. It might actually be 7 straight. Yeah, I think it was. I think they won their first game just like Miami did for some stupid reason. Well, Miami wasn't supposed to be tanking. I don't know what they're doing now. And I don't really know what Houston's doing. But they've played in close games against other bad teams. So that's why I'm picking them. I don't know. Miami also lost to Jacksonville. So I think it'd be funny if they just lost to all the AFC South teams. So that's why I'm picking the Texans. This is a pure humor pick. I also just, I think the Miami fans deserve it after all that crazy shit they talked last year, after they were good for the first time in like 20 years. All right, what else is next? Still missed the playoffs. Raiders and Giants. Oh, another good one. See what I mean by some of these, like, it's like you don't want to pick favorites, but when you look at the matchups, like these ones, Bills, like that, like, you know what I mean? Like the Raiders over the Giants, like, what are these matchups? How, like, last week was decent and this week is this. The Raiders play the New York Giants. It's in New York. The Raiders are 3-point favorites with an over-under of 46. If the Raiders continue to play that like they have the last couple games under head coach Rich, I think that they win this game quite handily. They seem to be playing very, very fired up football. They're playing to their highest potential with a pretty decent, like they have a decent to good roster, but they're playing at their max level for whatever reason. I wonder if the Henry Ruggs situation is going to be a damper on the team, but if they can still play the defense that they've been playing against an offense that really isn't that good, that looked a little overwhelmed by the Chiefs defense at times last night, I really think the Raiders should handle this game quite handily. Should handle it quite easily, rather. This shouldn't be much for them. They have a way better defense than the Chiefs, and I don't know, the Giants really struggled against the Chiefs defense. The Raiders should be able to walk in pretty easily and win. I have questions about how the Raiders offense will function, and if there's going to be any kind of weirdness with their team this week after the Ruggs DUI situation. If you don't know what that is, you should look it up. It's not good. It was a DUI that resulted in a death in a vehicle. So he might be going to prison for a couple years, depending on how that plays out. I highly doubt it, because usually those don't go out that way. But oh boy, is he in trouble. If you think he'll play in the league again, my guess is yes, based on the Dante Stallworth situation just a couple years ago. So, well, 10 years ago. I don't know. Maybe the league's changed by now. Anyway, yeah, not a lot to say in that one either. So give me the Raiders over the Giants. I don't know. Let's go to the 4 o'clock games. There's 3 of these. This game feels like it's going to be a lot closer than it looks on paper. The Eagles have been playing. I'm just joking. The Eagles have beat 3 bad football teams. So I'm not going to let them destroying the Lions, which is what they've done. They've beaten the hell out of some bad teams this year. I believe the Falcons, Lions, and was it Washington or the Giants they also beat? The list of teams they've beaten is like, oh, okay, that's why they've beaten them. Now they're playing the Chargers, who are probably going to be looking for revenge, trying to get their season right after a couple tough games. They have a very, very big offense in Los Angeles, and I wonder if the Eagles can deal with that. They played good defense this year. I do think they keep it close, and I also think that's why the line is only 1.5 in favor of the Chargers. So keep that in mind when you pick this game, that if you think it's going to be a blowout, I don't think so. I think the Eagles can stay in this game, especially since they can run the football quite well. They know how to run the ball with their quarterbacks, with running backs. But ultimately, I don't know if they have enough offensive firepower to stay in the game with the Chargers. Should it break down into a shootout or just a scoring fest? And if it comes down to defenses stepping up, I feel like still the Chargers have the offense to step up and score. Whereas if the Chargers defense smothers the Eagles, this could be a shutout. They won't score. So give me the Chargers over a pretty one-dimensional Eagles team. Game of the week, I guess, right? This is the one that probably exhibits to me the most reason to talk about, but not really when you think about it. Packers are heading to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. Chiefs are 1-point favorites because, of course, they are. Over-under of 54.5. Yeah, I like the Packers in this game. I do think it's got all the elements of a shootout written all over it if the Chiefs' offense ever gets itself together. A large reason why the Chiefs are sitting at 500 right now is because they played the Giants last night. They didn't look the greatest last night. Let me tell you, they playing the Giants the other week. I watched that game, and I feel like if they put that effort against another team, they lose. That was not the greatest game by the Chiefs. A win is a win is a win. That's always true in the NFL. But, you don't want to struggle beat a team like the Giants, who you should kind of be able to roll over, especially with how good your offense is supposed to be, how bad the Giants play on offense at times. Yeah, their defense kind of popped out at times, but it's you're playing the Giants, who don't have an offensive line, and now you're about to play the Packers, who are going to score probably at will on you. The question is here, what Chiefs show up, right? Do I think they'll play better than the way that they've looked? I think so, because I think they'll rise to the occasion at home and put on a show with the Packers, because I have it as a shootout at 38-35. The way this game breaks down in my head is, what defense do our Packers? All right, so we don't need to ask a question about what defense we trust to make a stop here. We have to look at, do we trust both offenses to be able to rise up against the defense? I think so, yeah, but even more so to the Packers this year than the Chiefs this year. In years past, you may have considered that more the Chiefs' ability, depending. But this is a highly anticipated matchup, and the Chiefs are playing like absolute garbage. It's one of the sad things you have to realize about this game finally happening. It's damn, Rodgers is playing at a career resurgence in the last few years, and Mahomes ain't playing for shit this year. Throwing a pick in every game but the Browns one, and sheesh. But I don't know. right now with the way the Chiefs are playing, I just can't pick them to win against the Packers, who are playing just like ballistic football again. They're looking like they could very well finish with like a 14-3 record, a 13-4 record, and just kind of waltz into the first seed of the playoffs in the NFC. It really does seem like that again this season. Whereas the Chiefs, they're struggling mightily on defense except for against the Giants, and that's not that impressive. Their offense hasn't looked the crispiest this year, and it's struggled mightily at times. Because I got to go Packers. I got to take the Packers on the road here. Maybe the Chiefs can finally show that they're back with like a strong showing and a big like kind of upset win against the Packers, but I mean, at this point, picking the Chiefs would feel like an upset, even though they're favored. Another pretty hard game to figure, but like that's you don't need to overthink it. I almost overthought this game because I think a lot of people are doing this right now based on the -1. Yeah, the 49ers won quite big last week against the Bears, but you have to remember they beat the Bears, and they really only started doing that in like the fourth quarter. They were having a rough game until they just suddenly started winning. I don't really see that being possible against the 49 or against the Cardinals, who know the Niners pretty well. Cardinals might be looking for kind of a revenge game after they got an embarrassing loss against the Packers on last week. Not embarrassing, it was just not the greatest loss. Like they didn't look that great in it. So I expect them to be out for kind of like a revenge thing against the division opponent. I don't know. I feel like if the 49ers still had their running situation like it was at the beginning of the season, I could easily see this being an upset, and I still think that that's not impossible that an upset happens in this game. But unless like 3 guys go out for the Cardinals and like they have some like weird injury problems, which I hope they don't, then I don't know. Not this year for the Niners again. I like. They looked good against the Bears, but I just can't get that excited about a team beating up on the Bears right now. You know what I mean? Maybe if the 49ers can win this game, they can kind of prove to a lot of people, hey, don't forget about us. We're starting to get everything figured out and get going here. But they need to win this game. This would be a big kind of like fix-it kind of statement game for the 49ers. But until they win a game like this and like beat like a pretty quality opponent, I can't really pick them. Whereas I've seen the Cardinals toast up some teams. I think they just had an off week and finally let the pressure of being undefeated kind of crash them in, and it was the Packers. So I mean, it's not like they lost to a bad team or anything. Yeah, those are the 4 o'clock games. Let's move on. Sunday Night Football, another really, really good game that I was going to pick the opposite way in until the injury to Derrick Henry has him out of this game. I feel like, all right, I'm going to get a lot of shit from Titans fans, and it's not because I think your team is bad. I just don't think without the threat of Derrick Henry, I wonder what the offense of the Tennessee Titans looks like. Is Ryan Tannehill really that guy without the threat of Derrick Henry? Now, I get it. He looked good, with Derrick Henry being injured last week, but it's like the threat was still there. He wasn't out of the game. You know what I mean? I still think he was in the game at least, so they had to respect him. Now he's not, and they don't have to respect the run game. They can kind of key on the pass and see what happens. The Rams are 7.5-point favorites. That's too high. Over under a 53.5. That feels right. It should probably be in the 60s. I like the Rams to win this game based on the fact that I have no idea what the offense of the Titans is going to look like. I still think they're going to be dangerous, but I also think that they're going to be a little bit like not as explosive because of the fact that like teams don't have to respect Derrick Henry and stack up a box against him. They can kind of play against the pass a little bit and force Tannehill to be the one to beat him. Plus, I think adding Von Miller, I think he's going to play this week. Like this, I'm watching this game. Like, don't get me wrong, and I think it's going to be a great game. But like, I just don't know what to expect out of Ryan Tannehill without Derrick Henry back there. And because of that, I have to take the Rams. The Rams are like a wrecking ball team. They can get up and then they just coast and they get up to a big lead, then let the team just kind of slowly come back. But you realize, wow, they have a lot of points. We're never going to come back in time. They made this happen so slowly. So give me the Rams. Titans could win this game, but right now I just really don't know if Ryan Tannehill is going to, again, rise to the occasion without Henry as a threat. So And I don't know if Peterson's going to be active for this game, so I don't really know if the Titans, who are kind of a running-based team, are going to have the run game to compete against the Rams team that is probably going to try to make a statement out of the Titans. So, boy, that's going to be a good game, though. Monday Night Football, let's move on here. Yeah, kind of a bummer. I got the Steelers beating the Bears. Steelers are 6.5-point favorites with an over-under of 40. There is nothing to talk about in that game. There's my picks record. That's either 7 or 8 on week 8 or 8 or 7, depending on how you want to consider the Vikings and Cowboys game. That brings us to either 73 and 49 or 74 and 48, right around 60%. So that's pretty good. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the week. Pretty good week, I think. Hopefully we have a good picks record this week. Hopefully it's not a bad repeat of this last week, and we get our shit together. Make sure you leave your picks down below, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Just leave any of your thoughts you might have on the picks, anything like that. I'll make sure I comment back to you at some point if it takes, even if it's a week, even if it's like literally I comment on Tuesday when I'm uploading the video and everything. I'll still get back to you, and you'll have your comment back, and we'll see how our picks compare. We'll see who's doing better this season so far. So leave your records, your picks, what you think, anything, and I'll comment back. You can be mean to me. I don't care. I might be mean back, but but if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. You know all that YouTube stuff. We're getting closer to 7,000. Thank you guys so much for all the new subscribers. Thank you guys. It's very kind. Thank you for all the likes and comments too. I appreciate that very much. Helps all that stuff really helps grow the channel and push the video out there and get people watching it. So again, thank you guys. It's very kind. I wonder if we will, we have a month. We have 2 months left to basically hit 270 subscribers. I wonder if we can do it. 170. I'm bad at small math. But anyway. All right. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. I hope you have a good rest of your day and night, morning, whenever you decide to listen to this. But again, these are my picks. Let me know yours down below. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good rest. I already said that. All right. Peace out. Goodbye. Go Lions. Go Tigers. And of course, go Patriots. Get that 5th win. Back over 500 this week. Lions aren't doing nothing, so that's good for them. No loss possible. All right. Peace out. Bye-bye.